morning, shine, shine, shine. Las Vegas, shine your light on me.
Welcome to Las Vegas Tonight. Join award-winning host Dale Davidson as he interviews the most remarkable people you'll find in the entertainment capital of the world. You'll meet entertainers, sports figures, newsmakers, community and business leaders, and people just like you with stories that'll touch your heart. Now, here's Dale Davidson.
Welcome. I'm Dale Davidson, host of Las Vegas Tonight. Thank you so much for tuning in. Each and every episode we do our very best to bring you fantastic guests. We sure have done it this time. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so pleased to have with us Roger Lee Harrison. Roger is kind enough to let me call him by his first name. Is a television producer, a motion picture producer, a theatrical producer. He's a musician. He's all of that stuff. And he happens to be in Las Vegas today. He's thinking about moving here, and we're doing our best to convince him to do it. So please welcome with me Roger Lee Harrison.
Glad to be here.
Thanks for coming on the show.
My pleasure.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about Bentonville, Arkansas. When I saw that, I went, isn't that where Sam Walton is from?
Yep.
And you told me you knew him.
Yep.
Yeah.
Actually, we went together camping lots of times, the families, and Bentonville was 1,100 people when I was in the first grade.
Wow.
And there were 4 kids in my family, 4 kids in their family. But Sam came to Bentonville, and my granddad was ready to retire. He owned the dime store on the square.
Okay.
And Sam came in and said he had heard that my granddad was ready to retire, and so he stopped in, and he wanted to start a business, and he made a deal. They shook hands, and my granddad and grandmother used their new DeSoto. They drove it up to on the Alcan Highway.
Wow.
They were just finishing with it, and that's what they wanted to do.
They were one of the first ones to do that.
They were gone for about 6 months, and then came back and stayed back in Bentonville.
Oh, that's great.
It was just a great place to live.
It was a nice place to grow up.
Yeah. On the first, like the 1st of June when school was out, you immediately, when you were a kid, you threw off your shirts and your shoes and socks, and you just went barefooted and naked from the waist up.
Went swimming
and
the swimming hole.
It was like Eden.
Oh,
it was just beautiful.
That's great.
And the people were all nice. We'd be running around, little kids, and get thirsty or something, and you just go up to any door you were near.
Yeah.
You'd just knock on the door and say, "Hi, Miss Johnson, could I get a glass of water?" And then they'd say, "Would you like some Kool-Aid or a sugar butter sandwich too?" And no, I just want
sugar butter.
But it was just
it
was like I had 500 mothers and 500 fathers.
Oh, so that's so sweet. Do you get back there at all?
Oh yeah, all the
time.
You do? Yeah. And right now in Tulsa, I'm just only 95 miles away, so I get over there for a little bit.
That's great. Let's talk a little bit about your faith, if you don't mind. We're a Christian show on Christian television networks. And we have many people who are believers and many millions who aren't. So we want to give them a chance to come to Christ as well. Were you a youngster when you came to Christ? How did that come about?
Yep, that was when I was, of course, I was baptized when I was a baby at the Methodist Church in Bentonville. And then at MYF, but we had this big thing going and
Methodist Youth Fellowship.
Yep.
I know. I was a Methodist too.
Yeah. It was just a wonderful. We went to Hendrix College when I was in high school. We had a meeting of a lot of kids coming from around the state, and I went down there on 3 occasions, three years in a row, and it was to Jesus pretty quickly.
Oh, that's great.
And was really moved. And
where was the college?
Conway, Arkansas.
Conway.
30 miles north of Little Rock.
Okay.
Okay. And
And you went to school there?
Yeah, I went to school there later after I wanted to be, I wanted to get away, far away. I just wanted to, it was going to be an adventure.
Yes.
And that was 300 miles away, so from Bentonville at the time.
Yeah.
And had a lot of mountains between the both, and so I had
It's like going to a different country.
Yeah, and it's like having, and it was like having another family. In high school, there were 86 kids in my in my classes, and then I go down to Hendricks, and there were 140.
Okay.
So
okay. It was reasonable.
Yeah, and they were like family. All of them are brothers and sisters, and my 60th anniversary at high school is coming up.
Oh, that's great!
In October.
And you're keeping in touch?
Oh yeah, we'll have, and there are about 50 of us left. And,
that's great.
So we'll be, the college one will be 4 more years from that. But,
well, you must be pretty famous among your peers there, going to Hollywood and making movies and all that.
Yeah, well, it's been up and down, but yeah, we all love each other. So
that's sweet.
Even if I do something stupid, which becomes pretty.
There's a lot of that going around.
That's fairly regular with me.
Were you interested immediately in theater in high school and college, or did that come along later?
No, I was working for Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner and Smith in New Orleans, and
finance.
I got my mother sent me a book, and it was called The Chosen by Chaim Potok.
Right.
And it was, she put me a little letter in there and said, you need to read this, it's really wonderful. And so I looked at it and I thought, and she said, everybody in town's reading it. And it was dog-eared and everything. And so I read that novel, and it introduced me to Judaism, and opened it up for me to see what it was like, because there were actually no Jews around Northwest Arkansas.
Yeah,
I mean,
that was foreign to you at the time.
And but I had several friends in New Orleans that were Jewish, and 3 or 4 when I was in college at Hendricks. But I read that and I thought, well, everybody in the world needs to read this. But it was a bestseller for 11 weeks. It was #1.
Wow.
And then it tapered off a little bit for the next year. It was still on the bestsellers list for a good long time, almost 2 years.
Wow.
But I read the book, loved it, and it made me see it that, okay, the Baptists have all different sects.
Sure,
and
absolutely.
actually the Methodists are, splitting here and there.
Yeah, they're doing that now,
But it's there were similarities to them, and so everybody ought to just let everybody else alone and let everything work for them.
Yeah.
But
what was the plot of the book?
The plot of the book, it starts 2 boys, a Hasidic boy, a Hasidic Jewish boy, that's a good athlete and had a brilliant mind, and he's up at bats, and Orthodox Jewish team was playing against him, and the pitcher was pitching, and the Hasidic boy hits a line drive and knocks the pitcher's glasses, and it kind of cuts around his eye.
Oh boy!
And so but ultimately the Hasidic boy comes to the other boy while he's in the hospital, just getting his eye all done, and the pitcher, is mad at him and blah 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 and all
What'd
this.
you do to me?
But they end up loving each other, caring about each other, and
right.
And the Hasidic boy, his father is the head of the whole Hasidic group in Brooklyn.
Oh, okay. Which is very large.
Yeah, and the Orthodox boy's father is a very bright guy, and he's pushing to. This happens between 1939 and 44, roughly, and he's working. That father is working toward getting Israel arms and getting Israel recognized.
Right.
And that goes, but the Hasidic boy, his father notices that his son has everything he reads, he just devours and it can remember every word, everything.
Photographic memory.
Yeah, but he has no feeling like if he reads something about somebody drowning or something, he reads it and he memorizes it, but doesn't think, well, geez, that's sad, that's really sad, or anything like that.
Oh, that's interesting.
So the Hasidic father gives him the silence treatment, which is there's a biblical thing that teaches that for the father to ignore the son and make the son hurt.
A shunning kind of thing.
And makes him feel, and ultimately, and so at the end you're crying like crazy because they come back together and blah blah blah. But the whole thing also digs into Hasidism and Judaism and everybody, this, that, and the other. And I thought, okay, so it's a best-selling book. It's sold 3 million copies. And so 3 million people have seen it, and probably another 3 or 4 million borrowed the book or got it out the library or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
And I thought, but everybody in the world should see this. And so I just decided I had a bonus coming in July at Merrill Lynch. And at that time in 1971, that was a fair amount of money, about $35,000. And I thought, I'm going to send this to whoever owns the rights.
And buy them.
And no, I'm just let them have it because I didn't know anything about film.
Okay.
And I was just going to participate and help get that done. And so I called. I found out who his agent was. Called him, and the agent said, and I told him what I wanted to do. I said, I want to send him a $35,000 cashier's check. If whoever's got the rights, and if they need help, and I said they don't need to sign anything or anything else. Just all they have to do is promise that they'll adhere to the integrity of the novel, and they'll follow it. Yeah, when they make the film. And he said, "Let me check." And he called the guy that owned it, the guy that owned the Jewish Post and Opinion. It was a magazine that came out and he gave me. So the guy called me and he said, I don't need your money. I've already got somebody that wants to put up the $1 million to make the film, and I spent $1,500. I've got a screenplay, and I thought that didn't sound like much even in 1971 for a good screenplay. But I thought, okay. And I said, I'll just send this to you. You don't have to do anything. And he said, well, I just don't need it. But he said, drop by and see me whenever you're in New York, which I was there every couple of months because I was doing Merrill Lynch stuff. And so we met, and I saw him several times. And then one day he called me and said, look, I've got these two big guys, and he had two big names at CBS. And he said, they want to put up $35,000 apiece. If you'll put up $35,000, I'll put up the rights to the film, and they want to make a series, a 6-point, like 2 hours each.
Oh, okay.
And so to have that, and I thought, well, that's great because they can get a lot of information. That would be super.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, great. I said, now they are going to adhere to the integrity of the film, right? And he said, yeah, everything except one. It's just one difference, and everything else is all the same. And I said, what's the difference? He said, well, instead of the Hasidic boy coming into the 20th century by going to libraries and museums and stuff, and visiting with different people. He said, and learning. He said they're going to have a guy just drop an LSD pill into his milk at the cafeteria at this college.
Oh, jeez.
And he said, because at that point in that when this was happening, I heard this, and because everybody was talking about LSD.
That was very,
oh yeah, and it
was a hot
flashes and
topic
it makes
at
you
that
so.
point.
And I said, really? That's the only thing? And he said, yeah. I said, and I'm sitting in New Orleans, and he's in New York City.
Right.
I said, I'll be at your office in the morning at 9 o'clock. And so I dashed out to the airport and got in. And I called a friend of mine that was an attorney and had him meet me. And at 9 o'clock that next morning, I went in and I told the guy, I said, my opinion is that if you do this film and you use LSD as something, I said, I would doubt that you would be allowed in any synagogue in the world.
Oh yeah, they're going to hate this. Yeah, they're going to hate it.
And the author and I met. Well, I told him I'll have to see the author, Dr. Potok. And see if he cares if a boy, if a goy buys the rights to this. But,
yeah.
And I knew this guy had like $60,000 of his own money that he'd spent over the 2 or 3 years there that we'd
trying to make the thing happen.
Yeah.
Roger, we need to take a brief break, and we want to hear that. We're going to leave them hanging for a second.
This is really exciting.
This is a great story. We'll be back with Roger Lee Harrison right after these brief messages.
Dale Davidson and the team at Las Vegas Tonight firmly believe that the only solution to today's serious problems is the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Dale carefully selects his guests on the show, making sure that their dedication to our Lord is heartfelt and genuine, and that their ministries are making a strong and positive difference in the world. Dale doesn't charge anyone to be on Las Vegas Tonight. The cost to produce and air the programs are covered by donations from our ministries partners. We thank you so much for your financial support, and most of all for your prayers. Please consider becoming a partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries for just $40 per month. For a little more than $1 a day, you'll be helping us bring the good news of Jesus Christ to millions of people around the world. The television networks that broadcast the program reach from coast to coast in the United States, and through internet apps cover the entire world. Your $40 monthly contribution entitles you to Dale's newsletter that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the production of Las Vegas Tonight and inside information on the exciting guests Dale interviews on every episode. You'll also receive a copy of Dale's book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, an in-depth look at 10 of Dale's most intriguing guests, plus a very personal story of how Dale came to Christ and the challenges he faces in bringing the good news to the world. Become a partner of our ministry today by going to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries website and clicking on the donate button, or by emailing Dale at dale@lasvegastonight.tv. Or you could write him at Dale Davidson, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. Thank you for watching Las Vegas Tonight, and may God bless you abundantly.
The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order made out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. For more information, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you. Welcome back to Las Vegas Tonight. I'm your host, Dale Davidson. We've been blessed with having Roger Lee Harrison on the program, and he's telling us about his career as a motion picture producer. His very first film, which was a blockbuster, which was a huge success, and it was called The Chosen. And I understand that you can still watch it on Netflix.
Oh yeah, and YouTube. You can get it on YouTube. Yeah,
that's great. When we went away from the break, we kind of left them hanging, but you were going to talk to the author and find out what exactly he'd put up with.
Yeah.
Kind of,
yep. And
Dr. Potok.
Yeah. And so I told the guy, "Are you interested? If I offer you, you've got $60,000. I'll give you $75,000 and buy the rights, or if you've got an umbrella corporation or something over it that makes sense. My attorney right here, just let him look at everything and see what I'd want to buy, either just the rights or whatever."
Yeah.
And in the meantime, I'm going to call the Potok's agent and see if he'll call Dr. Potok and find out whether Dr. Potok would rather have somebody Jewish to do this and to own it. And so the guy said he believed he might be interested. And I said, well, I'll be back here tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock and go ahead and visit with my friend here, and he'll look things over and we'll see what happens. And so I called the agent, and the agent said, would you like to meet Dr. Potok? And I said, sure, I'll get on the train and go to Philadelphia right now. He was a professor at the Philadelphia University. The agent said, "Oh no, he's in town. He's here.
Okay.
He's here in New York." And I said, "Oh great!" And he said, "Would you like to have dinner with him?" And I said, "Yeah." And so he said, "Hold on just a second." Came back, said, "Meet him at the Carlisle and at the restaurant there at 7 o'clock tonight." And I said, "I'll be there."
Great.
So I get there at 6:30, and so I wanted to be there, and I looked at the menu, and New Orleans, so I was ready to order the crab bisque and shrimp and all kind, my usual seafood, and so I'm waiting, and I see Potok coming because I recognize him from the flap on the book, and so I jump up and walk over to him, shake hands, and we start talking, and we walked over and sat down at the table, and the waiter came, and I said, "Dr. Potok, go ahead," and he said, "Just call me Chaim." I said, "Okay." And I said, "Go ahead and order. You order first." And he told he looked up at the waiter, and he said, "Well, I eat kosher, so I'll just have this, and this." And I went, "Whoa,
I better not be eating shellfish."
I'm not eating shellfish. And I just went, "That's exactly what I want." And so we ate that.
Yeah.
Anyway, we started talking, and we talked for 7 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And at the end, he looked at me and he said, "Listen," he said, "not only do I not mind you owning the rights," he said, "I want you to own the rights."
Wow.
And he said,
what a blessing.
he said, "You've told me that you don't know anything about filmmaking, but you're willing to do this." And he said, "I've never written a script." And he said, "But I'll write a script for you, and it won't be any good." He said, "But it'll be a place for you to, and you don't have to pay me for it." And he said, and by the way, you don't have to pay me $5,000 every year. No matter how long it takes, we'll stick together, and you can just occasionally put up $5,000 in every couple of years or 3 years or whatever if you're running short. And
right.
I said, well, and we hugged, and
No, that's great.
and off we went. And so I went to immediately. I wrote it. The next morning, got over there. The guy wanted to do it. I wrote him a check for $75,000, and $80,000. And
so you were buying the other guy out.
Yeah, and I wrote a check for him, and I of course had about $3,000 in my bank account. But back then, and it was Friday afternoon. I had this all. And so on Friday, they wouldn't be able to. It was late when we did all this, and it had to hit 3 federal banks before it hit New Orleans.
Okay.
So I knew I had about a week to put it together.
Okay.
So I dashed out, and we made the deal. My attorney had all the papers ready. He was really a nice guy. I just loved him. He passed away not too long ago. Anyway, I went back home. I raced over on Monday morning to my banker, and I said, "Listen, Jerry, it's going to be. I may be overdrawn a little bit somewhere toward the end of this week. I'm not sure." But I'm hoping that I'll be able to cover it. But so I said, just in case it does come in, just put it in your top drawer for about a day or two, and call me and tell me you've got it, and that. And he said, okay. And so I said, thanks, and I started out the door.
Boy, those were the good old days.
Well, I
wouldn't do it today.
Yeah. Well, I started out the door. As I was going out the door, he said, well, how much is it for? And I said, you don't want to know. And I just ran out. And it was, but I sold the stock that I owned, and I had about 17,000, I think it was. And then I had been giving my bonuses to this attorney friend of mine, and he would buy real estate and rent houses out,
Oh, okay.
And so that was working pretty good. And I called him, but he was always complaining. I started to say the B word, but he was always complaining about, people are calling me, and if their television doesn't work, I have to go work on it. I said, well, that's the deal we made. I would give you money, and you'd match it, but you would all take care of everything. Yeah. Well, I called him and I said, I know you've been, you want to just. Why don't you buy out my share? And I said, you can buy me out at just the money I gave you. He said, really? And he said, these houses are worth a little more. It's been 4 years. And I said, for the first one, and I said, yeah, because I feel I'm getting ready to do something else. So I got $40,000 there, and then I went around and borrowed the rest. Okay. Kept everything in, and the check cleared. Check cleared. And so I was standing there looking at the yellow pages in New Orleans, and under the F word, the film. Yeah. And say, who can make this movie for me? Yeah, and I called like 15 or 20 different, and they were like, it was all just nothing. And but then I ran into somebody that said they knew an attorney that wanted to be in the film stuff, and so I got him and just started there, and it took 8 years to get the film done. But to get the money together, attach the people to the project. The wonderful thing was the stars: Rod Steiger, Maximilian Schell, Barry Miller, and Robbie Benson. Those are big names, and they at the time they really were. And the interesting thing was they'd all read the book, and they all wanted those parts. Oh, and really? Barry Miller had never been in a film, but he was a really good actor. Still is. But he had some problems with various things over the time. But he got back, and he's doing well now. Robbie Benson teaches school in North Carolina, and just has a lot of children, and just a sweet boy. He and I would, during the shoot, one day we played basketball with paper over to baskets and betting. And
Yeah.
but these guys all took, they came in for less money than they got anywhere else. And
Just to do it.
Rod Steiger, who ordinarily would have gotten somewhere near $900,000 to $1.2 million,
Yeah.
he came in for like $140,000.
Wow.
And,
Yeah, he was he was an Academy Award
yeah,
winner.
yeah. And Maximilian Schell, he $100,000.
Wow.
And Robbie, he was just like, it was minuscule, and the other boy too, but they were just wonderful to work with. And we were in the Bronx, and it was like, it was a wonderful place. And it was the first time that we had like 6 weeks, and
To shoot.
there was no rain any time for 6 weeks in New York City.
That never happens.
Yeah, and so we had a lot of good breaks, and it turned out, yeah, we won a lot of awards and everything, and we had a great opening with opened at 300 movie houses and RCA place in New York.
Wow.
At $1,000, that was $1,000 a seat, and $100 a seat at the 300 ones that we had made deals with, and then we got back $3.5 million of our, right then we got back what we spent was about $3.5 million, and we sent the other $4 million to Israel, and for college students, poor, that needed
Well, God
money.
bless you for doing that.
So that was, and I would have preferred that they give that to me, but I didn't scream.
Yeah, I'll bet. And I'll bet
but-
you wanted to do that.
Yeah,
so,
I was willing
yeah.
to. I was willing to skip those guys.
Oh, that's great.
But anyway, we had. It was it really did. It opened up for me, and so I started my own film company in New Orleans. I had a big party, huge. It was amazing, and the Methodist minister got a little tipsy.
Oh, that's
and
unusual.
We had to help him out.
Yeah, that's unusual.
But Al, my friend Al Hurt.
Oh yeah.
He's one.
Famous trumpeter.
He was the sweetest man, and we played poker with Louis Prima and all kinds of people in New Orleans, and it was a real, everything was nice except I overstepped myself, and so I had my own film company, and it took me about 5 to 6 years to go belly up.
Yeah.
So
It's a tough racket.
Lesson learned.
It's a tough racket.
One lesson learned, but I keep I have many lessons that I've learned.
Yes.
But it would have been probably better if I'd majored in film and gone to New York when I was a kid, but I probably would have blown that anyway. So.
I don't know that that's true. It's such a risky business anyway, and I
Yeah.
know you've been around Hollywood, and you live there, and you know the people there. It's a very, very tough business.
Yeah.
It really, truly is.
I invested in a film called Jonna's Body, Please Hold. Not a film. We ended up getting a film out of it. A girl that had 3 types of cancer from the time she was 18 till 22 or 3.
Yeah. Okay.
And she wrote a play for herself, one-woman show, and she needed $30,000 to rent the place and all of this stuff. And so, and she didn't think she was going to be able to do it. And I saw her. She did the play just for half a dozen of us, and it was just wonderful. And
What was it called again?
Jonna's Body, Please
Okay.
Hold. And her body was having these illnesses, and
Right.
so she had all of these things that she talked about, and it was just hilarious. I mean, she made it into
a fun thing.
So turned around, and I went to Merck, and they liked it, and
pharmaceutical people?
Yeah, they put up $500,000 for us to make a film of it.
That's great. We're going to need to take another brief break, and then I want to talk about Hollywood today and what your opinion is to what's going on there.
All right.
We'll be back with Roger Lee in just a couple of minutes. Stick around. The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order made out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada 89117. For more information, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you.
Drawn by the lights, glamour, and opportunities in Sin City, they come from all over the world, searching for their chance to be a pretty woman, a success, or maybe just to have a better life. Be somebody. What happened after they got here is literally changing the world. From the story of Tommy Scott, a former gang enforcer turned Christian evangelist, to the Hookers for Jesus Outreach Ministry, to the heart-wrenching story of Arturo Martinez and his heroic act of forgiving the man who assaulted and murdered his wife and 10-year-old daughter. Las Vegas Tonight presents an extraordinary depiction of Las Vegas as a city of transformation, from Sin City to Vegas Saints. Las Vegas Tonight, from Sin City to Vegas Saints, a collection of true stories of transformation, people whose lives were transformed, and people who are now transforming the world.
Hi, I'm Dale Davidson, host of Las Vegas Tonight. You know, radio has an enduring place in the heart of America. Sometimes it's music that can enliven your spirit or keep you company when you need some. More often for me, it's just been the right spoken word or two that can quiet my mind and soul. Radio brings me a reassuring word in the quiet of night, or a welcoming voice early in the morning as I shake off the night's sleep and find my way into God's purpose for my day. And always, I find the best radio station is the one that brings me the best news, the gospel of Jesus Christ. My favorite radio station is KKVV in Las Vegas, Nevada. It's still right where it's been for years, at 1060 on the AM dial, hovering over Sin City like a gospel airship, broadcasting the good news of the abounding love that Jesus Christ has for every single one of us. No matter who you are or where you live, you can receive God's Word via the KKVV Gospel Airship. Just go to kkvv.com and click on Listen Live. KKVV is using all the tools that God's provided them, like podcasting and video streaming and video on demand, to produce programs that lift up our fellow believers and save the lost. If you feel a calling to speak to others about Jesus Christ on your very own show, pick up the phone and call the station. They'll be happy to tell you how. Call KKVV today at 702-731-5588 or drop them an email at kkvvradio@hotmail.com. Please join me in becoming part of the KKVV family. You'll be glad you did. welcome back. Roger Lee Harrison is here with us on Las Vegas Tonight. We've heard a fascinating story about how a motion picture actually gets made. And we want to segue from that into Hollywood in general. You spent a long time in Hollywood, didn't you?
Yeah, still do.
Yeah, and you live there. Tell us a little bit about the culture, first of all, and whether you agree or disagree with what they're doing to the industry.
Well, I sort of disagree to how they're doing the general stuff and how everybody's trying to alienate anybody that refuses to go along with what they're going along with, and
right.
all of these different things that you're being woke and you're doing this, that, and the other. It's just, but it's always been there. But I have all these friends, and there's one group that I had early on that would meet in Culver City, and it was fun. Everybody talked about what we were doing, this, that, and the other, but they would go to when they'd start talking politics, there's Ronald Reagan and all of this, that, and the other, but they're all against. They're
all liberals,
and they would get mad.
Yeah.
And it would slowly but surely. I would say nothing for a good long while they were talking, and then once it got to where it was just really going crazy, I would just throw in my 2 cents worth, and they'd start yelling. but
another warm human moment.
But this wonderful guy that actually started getting all of us together,
mm-hmm.
About the second time this happened, he said, wait a minute. He said, now, I love Roger, and you guys love Roger, and he loves you and me and my wife, and he said, so we're not going to talk politics anymore. And he said, let's just talk what we're doing, what our parts of what we're doing, and what activities we're doing, and what we need for ourselves.
Right.
And they obeyed.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
That's good.
And there are lots of people that I just adore up there.
Yeah.
And talented people and good people, and they're great. And I don't think they really, in a lot of cases, they don't really understand what they really need or want, or what would help, or what would be good or bad. And I'm not an expert myself, I don't think.
But there's moral grounding missing, isn't there?
Yeah.
Because the motion pictures have so degraded in morality that it's hard to believe.
Yeah, it's rare to get a good film, but there are good films. There are good films that they come out, and some of them earn Oscars. This Judy Garland film. The people that review were saying just bad things about it. They thought it wasn't any good, and they didn't. The gal that played Judy, she did the singing, and she'd been ignored by all these these things, and all of a sudden she's won the SAG Oscar or the SAG award. SAG award, and she won the other award that was the Golden Globes.
Yeah, right.
And I had gone to that film with a couple of friends, as a matter of fact, 2 beautiful girls, and we watched that film, and it brought tears to your eyes, and it was just you sort of dug into it, and this girl actually sang it herself, and did a good. She sounded like Garland,
like Judy Garland,
but acted so much like her that even if she hadn't sounded like Garland, you would have just
believed
you'd have been caught.
Yeah.
And so everybody has all these opinions, and seeing them on these all of these things on Facebook and everything else, but the good thing is, girls, women, they're really they are loving being able to talk and say people are watching, are reading this stuff.
Right. Yeah.
And they really get nasty sometimes, but there have one gal that had written a play that was just wonderful. That well, it was called Louis and Keely Live at the Sahara, and it's the first play to sweep the Ovation Awards, which is like the Tonys in New York City.
Right.
Swept 2 years, and nobody's ever done 2 years, even for one thing. And it was the biggest player ever. We just really, it was amazing. I've always worked the Saturday crossword puzzles, New York Times,
sure.
and
not easy.
And and well, that's why I do it. It's if I do it even half or to 2/3, I know that I'm not losing it.
Yeah, there you go.
When I get it all right, I'm really pleased, and I know okay, I can.
I still got my chops.
I think I can go another couple of months. But I was reading in the L.A. Times. It's not quite as hard on the Saturday, but the Saturday is the hardest in both of those. And I saw a little ad like just this much, and it said Louis and Keely live at the Sahara and at the Sacred Fools Theater. And I said, well, they've got to be talking about Louis Prima. And I had played. He would come into town in New Orleans. He was raised in New Orleans, and and tap danced on the street in the French Quarter. And so I called the place, and they said, "Oh, we've sold out for the whole 3-week run." And she said, "Just because of that little," I said, "Well, you know, I know Louis and Keely. I knew Louis better, and if I could, I'd like to come see that, and I might be able to raise money for you because you're going to need it if it's good." And sure enough, and she said, "Well, okay, come on, we'll find a place for you."
That's
and
nice.
They did, and so long story short, over a period of time, I ended up being we went to the Geffen at 100,
wow,
and
that's huge.
And we were sold out, and we stayed there for almost 1 year and 3/4.
That's a long time for a play.
Yeah. And they thought we'd only be there for a little while, so the contract we got was that we could keep using that 140 seat theater as long as we liked, as long as we paid them the same thing.
Yeah.
And what we were paying them was just peanuts, basically. But they were. Then they tried. Then they came and tried to get us. Well, we didn't know you were going to stay this long, and we'd like to. Couldn't we go up? And I said, no, we've only got peanuts for you guys, but these people are coming. I mean, Tom Hanks, he and his wife came 4 times.
Wow.
Betty White came like 6 times.
Wow.
And all kinds of, we had all these stars that came, and it was a great piece of work. It still is. But I learned a lesson there, and a big lesson, and was stabbed in the back by I won't say his name because I don't want to give him any, but he was just a bad person. But he stabbed his best friend of 50 years in the back at the same time. And it ended up afterwards. I mean, we made money at the time, but I wanted to take it all the way. After, I was ready to take it to Broadway and everything.
Yeah.
Right now it's in limbo, sitting there, and it'll sit there for a while longer, and I'll see if I can pick it back up.
Wow. What is it about the entertainment industry that attracts bandits? Because it does, doesn't it?
Yeah. Well, what they want to do, they love being famous.
Yeah.
And and I'm not sure whether I'd love being famous or not. I like having I like having 86 people from my high school and 140 in college, and having that family, and we all love each other about the same.
Yeah.
And we all know each other about the same. But
Yeah.
This guy is married to a woman who is probably worth $300 million. She's an actress, a phenomenal actress, and he is directed and has had an Oscar nomination, mainly because his best friend raised the money for the film that he did, and he ends up stabbing him in the back the same way at the same time, the two of us.
Oh,
Anyway,
Lord.
but he wanted his name up there on the marquee more, and when you saw it, they brought it. He took it to Chicago and didn't he got there late. He didn't get there in time to advertise enough. He blew it. He lost money. Then he did the same thing. He came back to the Geffen to do that and see if he could do that for a couple of nights, and that same thing. He lost, and it's sitting there. But
well, they say, you know that.
But when he did it, he did put the marquee, got a marquee printed for that, and it had his name.
At the top.
He presents. Then he's the one of the writers. He's the top writer. They put him on the top when he wasn't. He didn't write it, and then two other things. And he was a good friend of Spacey. It's John Spacey or whatever his name is.
The actor?
Yeah, the
Kevin
actor.
Spacey?
Kevin Spacey.
Yeah, right.
And he's actually been, and this guy has been hiding, seems to. He hasn't shown up sometimes with his wife to some of these things like the Oscars and stuff. And I think I saw him. I was looking just to see if he had shown up at the Golden Globes, and I got a glimpse that it might have been him behind his wife there. Because she got something, but he had grown whiskers and he was looking like he didn't want to be seen. So I don't know, but those are the kind of things. It's just they think they're God.
Yeah, and that's an epidemic in Hollywood, and it certainly is the case that pride is the worst sin.
Yeah.
And that leads to arrogance and all the rest of it. But you've been a real bright light.
Well, but look at me. I just.
Thanks for coming on our show.
I've gone up and down, but this is an up.
That's wonderful. Thanks for coming in.
I appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Next time you're in town, please stop by and
stop.
let us know what you're up to.
I'll let you know. You don't have to put me on TV. But
we'd love to have you again.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So Roger Lee Harrison, and your email address, which we have put up on the screen, is Big R, because he was known as Big R, Big R307 at AOL.com. So he welcomes your comments and suggestions and offers to raise some money or whatever
I can do.
Yeah,
if I like it, and I hope I like a lot of things.
That's great. Well, God bless you, Roger. Thanks for coming.
You too.
Thank you all for watching Las Vegas tonight. It's been a blessing to have you along. And as I try to remember to say each and every close when it comes to our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, please walk with Him. God bless you.
Drawn by the lights, glamour, and opportunities in Sin City, they come from all over the world, searching for their chance to be a pretty woman, a success, or maybe just to have a better life. Be somebody. What happened after they got here is literally changing the world. From the story of Tommy Scott, a former gang enforcer turned Christian evangelist, to the Hookers for Jesus Outreach Ministry, to the heart-wrenching story of Arturo Martinez and his heroic act of forgiving the man who assaulted and murdered his wife and 10-year-old daughter. Las Vegas Tonight presents an extraordinary depiction of Las Vegas as a city of transformation, from Sin City to Vegas Saints. Las Vegas Tonight, from Sin City to Vegas Saints, a collection of true stories of transformation. people whose lives were transformed and people who are now transforming the world. Dale Davidson and the team at Las Vegas Tonight firmly believe that the only solution to today's serious problems is the saving knowledge of Jesus Christ. Dale carefully selects his guests on the show, making sure that their dedication to our Lord is heartfelt and genuine, and that their ministries are making a strong and positive difference in the world. Dale doesn't charge anyone to be on Las Vegas Tonight. The cost to produce and air the programs are covered by donations from our ministries partners. We thank you so much for your financial support and most of all for your prayers. Please consider becoming a partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries for just $40 per month. For a little more than $1 a day, you'll be helping us bring the good news of Jesus Christ to millions of people around the world. The television networks that broadcast the program reach from coast to coast in the United States, and through internet apps cover the entire world. Your $40 monthly contribution entitles you to Dale's newsletter that gives you a behind-the-scenes look at the production of Las Vegas Tonight and inside information on the exciting guests Dale interviews on every episode. You'll also receive a copy of Dale's book, Las Vegas Tonight, From Sin City to Vegas Saints, an in-depth look at 10 of Dale's most intriguing guests, plus a very personal story of how Dale came to Christ and the challenges he faces in bringing the good news to the world. Become a partner of our ministry today by going to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries website and clicking on the donate button, or by emailing Dale at dale@lasvegastonight.tv, or you can write him at Dale Davidson, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, Suite 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. Thank you for watching Las Vegas Tonight, and may God bless you abundantly.
The Lord has made it possible for our show, Las Vegas Tonight, to thrive. We've produced well over 300 episodes telling the remarkable stories of Christians who have set out to change the world for the better. It's my honor to lead this ministry. As the founder of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, I'm commanded to be a good steward of all the donations our partners have so generously provided to us. As you can imagine, it takes a great deal of money to keep this program on the air in the United States and around the world. Please prayerfully consider making a one-time donation or becoming a monthly partner of Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries. Just go to vegassaints.org and select Make a Donation, or send your check or money order made out to Dale Wynn Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. For more information, call 702-480-3989. Thank you, and God bless you.
You've been watching Las Vegas Tonight with Dale Davidson. Send your tax-deductible gifts to Dale Davidson Ministries, 9030 West Sahara Avenue, number 255, Las Vegas, Nevada, 89117. Or call 702-480-3989. Thanks for watching.
This show is brought to you by, we also love our musicians. Think about Frank's Tribute, an all-star band. It's a Green Bay-based band with Let Me Be Frank's Productions. Family owned by Frank Hermans, who happens to be a veteran entertainer.
Welcome to social media shows. Have you been watching social media shows recently? Of course you have. We have been live streaming for 4 years across social media platforms. We produce over 70 shows with over 1,000 episodes. In the process, we've helped over 100 creators realize their dreams and start their own show. We give platforms to promote your business. If you are an artist, if you have an event, if you are entrepreneurs, or if you have a story. If you haven't done it yet, go ahead and subscribe and follow us on major social media platforms. And if you have a great idea of a show, join us. Social media shows can help you produce and live stream your own show. Let us help you make your dream become a reality.
Hello, everyone. This is Joseph Skoda with Social Media Shows. Well, I thank all of you for your support through these last several years, and it's been a lot of fun. We've given people a voice they never had before. Now, Social Media Shows is always collaborating with our veterans to help them do things and help out the veterans who are struggling today. And we teamed up with GI Connections, connecting veterans with resources. So please consider helping and donating to this great cause because we're always doing things for veterans. So GI Connections, Social Media Shows, and you is what makes the world a better place. Once again, Joseph Skoda, proud United States Air Force veteran.